Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. I'm not in the best of health, unfortunately. In the best of Iman, maybe, but not in the best of health. I'm still forcing myself to fast, even in this depressed state. I don't know if it's a wise thing to do, but I tell myself that, perhaps in all this darkness that I'm experiencing, I might get some kind of meaning to my pain, which brings me back to the topic that depression and Islam. I was watching a video the other day, I think on Al Jazeera, talking about Muslims and depression. They were narrating their experiences. It resonated very much with me because I'm currently feeling severely depressed, and I have been going through that phase, that problem numerous times in my life. And it's quite interesting to know the relationship between mental health and Islam. There are many Muslims actually who do suffer from depression. It's not like we are not immune to the problems of mankind. Muslims are just human beings, and it's actually a very common thing. I don't know if I can say normal thing, but it's actually something that exists. It's not your fault, it's not in your mind, it's a disease. We don't know how we end up suffering from depression, and some people don't. We don't know. But the thing is, many times in Islam, actually the philosophy that when you are going through a hardship, you tell yourself that Allah is testing you because He loves you, and He will not give you more that you can tolerate, and that this life is temporary. This life is going to be always full of problems. I'm not saying that these are wrong, by the way. These do make sense to a huge extent, because if not for these, it will be 100 times more difficult for you to accept that suffering, trust me. So, and I will not deny that in the past, when I used to feel afflicted with sorrow and grief, the first thing I would do is turn to Allah, turn to prayer, and it would help to a certain extent. I would feel like I see some kind of light finally at the end of the tunnel. But now, unfortunately, in my present situation, I am already very spiritual, very religious, if I may say. I'm already very much connected to the deen, but it's not preventing me from feeling totally down. And I have been thinking a lot about, depression. When you feel depressed, you want to understand, especially if you're a very spiritual person, again, you don't understand why, despite doing all the things that are good, trying your best to be a good human being, be a good Muslim, you don't understand sometimes why you are suffering so much. The suffering becomes unbearable, and you tell yourself that sometimes you are you don't have any hope anymore, and you tell yourself that what's the use of me even following Islam? Like, I would better abandon it. There is no use praying because I'm not getting any relief. That's actually what I was telling myself a couple of days ago. But then when I thought, like, what are the options left to me, I couldn't see any other way. I couldn't see any other options. So the truth is, no matter where you go, what you do, how you feel, the truth is the truth. Like, you can't run away from Islam. You can't run away from Allah. And I tell myself that, this world is full of suffering, and you can't escape from it. Life, the negative and the positive, are actually important for life to be balanced. It's part of life to be vulnerable. It's part of being human. It's not your fault. It's something that perhaps we need to accept, because there is no exact explanation for it again. It's very difficult, but it's there, and there must be a reason, why there is so much suffering. That's why I always tell myself, nothing is out of coincidence in this dunya, nothing. And I remember sometimes I had written, I had searched advantages of being depressed. I know many people will be they will not like it. It will be controversial. Like, what are the advantages of being depressed? There are none. But when you are depressed, you start to perhaps become more aware of your vulnerability. You become aware of people around you who are very supportive. You don't believe sometimes that, there are so many people who are willing to go out of their way just to see you doing better. And you start to reflect, like, there must be some aim. Nothing is out of coincidence. There must be an aim. There must be a reason behind all that suffering. I'm not talking about me. If you watch documentaries, you see people have been going through horrors in humanity since forever. Irrespective of which kind of horror it is, all kinds of traumas, rape, abuse, death, loss, disease, heartbreak, etc. So there must be a reason why. Why do we have to suffer? What is the end product of it? So yeah, honestly, I don't have many answers. I don't think there is any utility trying to find an answer to why you are feeling depressed. But anything that can help you heal is probably worth it, and you need to try to heal. It's like moving mountains. I know it's like fighting against a wall of steel. You can't. But then what other options do you have? You're going to live, you're going to exist. You can't let yourself go spiral even further down in the path where there is nothing left for you to gain. The strange thing is that over and over again, if I have to talk about myself, I did get out of it successfully, alhamdulillah. I became the person that I always dreamt of being. But then, that was why I was talking to my friend last night. Maybe I hadn't healed, really. I thought that I had healed superficially, but then, once again, I am in this condition that I wouldn't wish even my worst enemy to be.